Hey there, this is Linda and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. In this video, I'm putting together my Project Life spread for the week of May 13th through May 19th, 2024, and I'm working with the Birthday Story Kit from Ali Edwards. Let's go ahead and dive right in. Okay, so this was the week of my daughter's birthday, so that's why I chose to use the birthday kit for this week, because I thought that, because that kit is such a specific theme, I wanted to make sure that I had at least some stories to tell that were related to her birthday. So I waited for the week of her birthday, and then we had her birthday to celebrate, and then we also went out to dinner for her birthday. So I have those stories, and then I have just like everyday life, regular stories. I'm just kind of laying out my photos. And so this week, because I did it with a story kit, I have a more specific plan than I normally do going into it, because I have previously planned this layout out using the story kit in the story kit classroom as part of my story kit planning lesson. So if you're curious about my original plan, check out my lesson in the story kit classroom for the birthday theme. So because I knew exactly what cards I wanted to include, I had a better idea of exactly how many photos I needed. And I think I did that right. So I have a few other things to include here. I have a few photos. I have my cards that I selected. I'm not sure I like this layout. So I have this one that's birthday story to tell the story of her birthday. And then I have these two. This one I think I'm going to just tell like the random stories of the week. This one I think I'm going to tell the story about, it's actually a birthday story. There were baby birds born this week. And so I think I'm going to tell that story. And then I have this to do like a filler on white with this balloon. And then there were a couple of these, which I would probably put onto photos. So I'm thinking maybe I'm going to rearrange those like that. Just a few other like little things that happened this week. And I think I like that layout. I need to cut some white cardstock for a background here. Let's see. Do my journaling, add some embellishments. I have these two like little page flag things or triangles, so I will probably put those on a couple of my photos, maybe like those two or something like that. And then I have the word phrase strips, which I will probably put on some as well. Maybe I will pair those with some other word phrase strips from my stash. I'm not entirely sure, but this one's probably going to come together pretty simply because I have a lot of photos and it was pre-planned. So it's really going to be like photos and cards. But it's still, I'm excited about it. I actually could see putting this one here, but I'm going to put it there. This photo, I printed this as a 4x6. This was originally a vertical photo, but I needed a 4x6 photo to go into this pocket, and I didn't have one. All of the photos I took this week were vertical, but I thought this one would be fun to crop it like this rather than have the extra like space of the wall. And I really love how it came out, so I'm super happy I did that. I might put like word phrase strips along these edges too. I think that could be fun. But I'm gonna go ahead and put you guys on fast forward and start getting this one put together. Okay, so this one comes together pretty quickly, and I think I say that almost every week, but I recently had a conversation online about how some people who work on this project are really struggle with it taking too long, and although they love the end result, it just takes up so much of their scrapbooking time. So some tips I have if you want this project to go by quicker. So first of all, I think that just doing the project repeatedly helps you come up with a flow that works for you, and it just naturally becomes quicker over time. I also highly recommend working with a kit or a specific set of supplies. For this spread here, you can see I'm using the blue word phrase strips that were in the birthday story kit. I'm using a set of white ones that I pulled over from my stash, and these metallic enamel dots that I got from Cocoa Daisy. They were in the March collection this year. And I'm pulling from those three things primarily to embellish my spread. I also have these 2 chipboard pieces that were from the birthday story kit that I kept in with the supplies for this layout. So that helps me embellish these very quickly because I'm just looking to these few supplies when deciding what to do. That said, my different cards and photos have different embellishment clusters. Some of them have those chipboard flags with a word phrase strip on them. Other ones have just a word phrase strip, especially you can see where I have it following the frame of those framed art, and then also of the door frame of my craft room. And then some of the other ones I stacked the word phrase strips together and added some enamel dots. I moved on to this card here, which says Happy Day, and I'm journaling about baby birds. So it's kind of hard to see in the video. It's hard to see in the photo, but I have that photo right there. I just grabbed it with the tree with my finger. And this is me pulling back the branches in this little tree that's in my front yard that had a bird nest in it and some baby birds. So I found the baby birds the day after my daughter's birthday in there, and we just kept an eye on them. The mother bird just kept coming back, so we did make sure she was coming back to feed them. She was very skittish, so whenever she was there, we wouldn't go out. But we did peek in at the baby birds a few times, and they were super, super adorable. Unfortunately, I didn't get a great photo because I did try to not scare them, so I didn't really open up the branches entirely, but we did get a few cute glimpses. I had moved on to that journaling card that says birthday story to journal about my daughter's 19th birthday. This kit, although it's super specific, I think it works well for Project Life because we all have birthdays during the year. So just saving it for a week or a month, however you do Project Life, where you have a birthday that you celebrated, it can really help with that. If you are worried about using it for the entire spread, you could also pull the pieces out and just put a card or two to document a specific birthday story and save the rest for another week that you have another birthday story to document. I'm moving on to this card here, which says happy. Here's the story, which is more general. And the happy is in with those like balloons. And I thought it went really well with the metallic dots. So I'm using these as bullet points to tell the story of just random stories from the week. So you guys know I like to do that in my Project Life spreads. I usually have one card that's just like a bullet point list of random stories that happened. And I think that's one of my favorite parts of Project Life is just getting these like micro stories documented, because otherwise, I'm going to forget them. And to be fair, they are in my daily journal, but I put them in there so that I can do this project. So if I wasn't doing this project, I don't know how much I would ever really think about those stories, or if I would keep up with documenting all of those micro stories in my Hobonichi cousin. I just finished off this card with a word phrase strip, which is just continuing like my go-to to add something to each card. And then I'm moving on to this balloon one. So I struggled with this card. I had adhered this balloon on here and drew a little line there thinking, this would just be a good filler card on its own, but it felt so boring. I don't know. I didn't know what to do with it. So what I ended up doing was I pulled over the stamp set, which had a little balloon, and I pulled over 2 of Ellie's inks. One, the pink one is Rose Garden and the orange one's called Tillamook. And I'm using them to stamp some balloons behind it. Now, I wish I hadn't adhered that other balloon down yet, because I had to kind of like fold it up to get the stamps underneath it. And it got a little messy and bent a little bit, but it ended up working out fine. But still, I think I would have preferred if I had planned this out a little bit better. But that definitely filled in the card a bit and made it just a little less boring. I added a word phrase strip across the top there to kind of pin it down. And I was still kind of annoyed with that. So I ended up grabbing my tiny attacher and stapling it, which doesn't make a ton of sense because you can't staple a balloon. But it worked for the spread, and I ended up being happy with the end result.
that is it to wrap up this spread. I'm just going to go ahead and slip everything into the pockets and call this one good. I want to say that once I had everything printed, I believe this spread only took me about 30 minutes to put together, maybe a little bit longer than that, plus the time it took me to edit and print the photos, which I do for multiple weeks at a time, and then to plan out the spread, which I did when I planned out all of my projects using the birthday story kit. So that is another way that I keep this project from taking way too much time. Here's a look at that completed spread. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. And as always, I hope to see you guys all in the next one. Bye.